Well, I'm down at the packing bench, got 4 items to pack today. Small items, but pretty good profit, including that second Abalone Shell bottle opener. Now you may hear it sounds like I have some critters moving around up in the loft there. Rose is actually organizing some of the surplus packing material so that we can bring more over from Agate. Uh, for the next week or two, it's going to be a question of packing these two buildings on the lake as tight as we can to keep emptying Agate. How you doing up there, Rosie? She's okay. All right, let me show you what we're packing today. And the other thing we noticed today is Rose was updating some old listings, and the first one that she came across was an old novelty coin, an Indian head. And for the last few days, I've been seeing notes pop up, and I got another message that said, new coin requirements, start abiding. And I did a video when they first came out with it about a month ago, but they're starting to enforce it. They're popping up, and you can't actually update an old listing without putting in the new condition requirements. And the odd thing about it is they're strange. The closest comparison I could probably come up with is the way they changed either clothing or books. And in books, your choices were common terms. You know, acceptable, good, very good, like new, new. And underneath them was a little definition. Well, whoever designed the ones for coins went a completely different route, which often happens with eBay. They're trying to use industry standard terms, you know, very fine, circulated, uncirculated, trying to make us all coin experts, even if you only sell a few coins, or in this case, it's not even a real coin. It's a copy, it's a novelty coin. And I'll show it to you on the screen so I can clearly show what the issues are with the way eBay has moved coin grading. It's not simple. It's going to cause us all to learn grading requirements for coins. It does absolutely nothing for the seller, despite what eBay's message to us tells us. The only thing it really does is it's going to make it easier for buyers to open INADs. They're going to be able to say, oh, he overgraded that coin. And when you move into the uncirculated with where, they're trying to get you to define it. And the old way, I would simply put up photos and say, look at the coin for yourself and decide if it meets your needs. Well, now we're actually having to put a standard on the listing. And if the buyer challenges it and says, oh, your standard was off, you overgraded that, they've got an automatic reason for an INAD. So this decision to make us do this may be helpful for buyers, make it easier for returns, but I don't see it improving our lives. It's going to take sellers more time to do listings, and we're going to have to learn a whole new criteria. Anyway, I'll show you what I'm packing today, and then we're on to working on the agate transfer. Here are the 4 items. This one is kind of a replica of a Zeppelin wind-up toy. It's got the key wind. Here's one of the packs of Stag novelty cards that have all the Risqué jokes. That one was an offer. Here's the second abalone bottle fish. These have both brought very good money, somewhere in the 70s plus shipping. And here's that group of mixed Lego and Connect spinners. We sent out an offer to buyers. He came back and said, how about 15? I went back and said 16 plus shipping. And he took it. So these are the items I'm packing up, nice and easy, which is always good on a day when you're going to be moving bins, totes, and heavy objects to clear out a storage area. So today when I was shipping out these connects, I noticed that the name on the address didn't quite match the name here. So I clicked on this to confirm there wasn't an issue, and it opened a page I hadn't seen before. Now this looks like a useful page, something new. Tells you he's a repeat buyer, how much he's bought, that type of thing. But even when you find a page like this that they've inserted that looks good, you got to ask yourself, how long will it really be here? One day after you rely on it and you get used to it, it'll simply move to a new location, or they'll delete it altogether. I believe these are repops made from the old patterns, but this one, interestingly enough, is going international. So we'll check its length and find a box and make sure it's padded well to make the journey. Yeah, it'd be nice if you could actually easily see where they're headed other than simply the eBay International Warehouse. It'd be nice out of curiosity. Now often when I'm cleaning out jewelry boxes, I'll make up groups like this from estate finds. This one happens to be a collection of brooches. Because these are three-dimensional, have some depth, I went ahead and split the group into two bubble pockets, and we'll just simply put them into a box like this, and that way I'll float them in the center of a cut down, probably a 6x5x5. Other items of interest we're packing today. Here's a set of Pomona micro grippers, 8 leads with banana plugs on one end, push-out gripper clips on the other. These will just slide into a poly after patting. Well, at this price point, I decided I'd put these grippers in a box. Here you can see the tips on them. You squeeze and the hook comes out the end. But yeah, $42.79 for 8 of these leads. Different colors, a couple different lengths. I had these in the shop up at the Seebeck house. So I'm just not doing much anymore with test equipment. So this is part of the surplusing. But yeah, we'll put them in a small box and get them on their way. Good money in old Pomona products. And we sold a VHS tape that came in with some lot. I don't even remember when or where, but it sold as well. Not much profit in open VHS tapes. Occasionally, if you find a sealed one for wrestling or a horror movie, you can make some money on them. But as I clear out offices and things, I just find random tapes, and I'll check, and if there's not a lot of competition, I'll go ahead and list them. Now, a couple of days ago, I noticed that there'd been a change to the shipping page, the label printing page on eBay. And I had spotted that multi-quantity orders, the quantity was wrong and the red dot was missing. Well, today I noticed something else is missing. The location SKU block to do the pull is no longer up here in this area where it normally is. And of course that means you've got to go to a different page to get the location you've stored the item in to do the pull and pack. Yeah, they make these changes. You really have to wonder why they drop useful functions. I don't know. It makes no sense. It makes you wonder where the adult supervision is as they introduce such changes on the eBay platform. Now, another piece of absent information, or at least a section of the website that isn't working right, has to do with going back and searching for sold items. Now, these are some Boeing aircraft tags. I sell them routinely. I've had them for a couple years. I sell them in pairs, and I've sold a couple of sets recently. But while I was making a video the other day, I wondered just how many I had sold over the longer period. I opened up the orders section on the hub, and I went down to paid and shipped. And here you can see it's only showing me the most recent 2 orders. And if I go back and I say, well, that should be more in 90 days. How about if I want to lengthen that time and I want to know how many I sold this year? And there you can see only the latest 2 are showing up. This one, the carrier scanned on May 12th. And let's see, this one was sold, all right, this one was sold the 8th of May. This one was sold the 13th of May. But where are the old sales? It used to be you could go back and you could even look at it last year. So you could go back and pull up the sales on a multi-quantity order going back some time. It's actually given it to me today. When I did it yesterday, it only showed me the first 2. So I noticed that eBay's been having a lot of trouble the last couple weeks, especially with consistency. And here you can see I wanted to know how many had sold, and quite a few have indeed sold. But when you can't have access to that information when you want it, it causes problems for a seller on eBay. eBay tracks and records this, but when they can't present it to you on demand, it's a problem. I had to wait, nearly 30 hours in order to see the data I was looking for. Now in the comments, let me know whether you list on a smartphone or a laptop or in some other manner, and whether you've been seeing glitches and missing data fields like I have. I'm always curious.